and welcome to the new SIR podcast by the Society of Insurance Research. This is your host, Tony Cañas, Chief Motivational Officer at Insurance Nerds. And today I have with me Eric Price-Glynn, Product Director at MarketStance, a Verisk company. So first of all, Eric, thank you for joining me today. How's it going?
Thanks a lot for having me, Tony. It's going real well.
So you are a recent Smith and Magnum award winner. So congratulations on that. That was this year, right?
I was awarded the Smith and Magnum Award, I believe in April this year. So for 2025.
Perfect. So I've got the description here. The Smith and Magnum Distinguished Service Award recognizes an insurance professional who has made distinguished contributions in the field of insurance research. All right, so I would love to hear a little bit about your role at MarketStance and kind of your career. What led you here?
Well, so let me tell you a little bit about myself and kind of background, and what led me into insurance, which was first of all, I didn't actually start in insurance. I was educated as an economist and came into insurance basically because I didn't really want to teach economics as a profession, and decided that this would be, it seemed interesting. And what I immediately realized was how little I actually knew. That was the sort of the first recognition that my formal training in economics, federal statistics, and things of that nature were, was a good background preparation for generally what I would be doing. But as I got into insurance, and specifically into commercial lines insurance, where I've spent the last 17, 18 years, I really recognized that was something that was a whole different dimension of knowledge that I needed to gain. So I think I became a student of commercial lines insurance basically when I was handed my first projects, and that was back in 2006. So.
Okay, so you get the first project and you're like, wow, this is a whole much more complicated than anything else I've seen in insurance. I need to learn commercial lines. So how did you dig into learning commercial lines?
How did I dig into it? I dug into it really from the standpoint of data first, because that's sort of what MarketStance then and now is known for. So I was working with customer data, policy level information, and trying to understand what it meant, how it could be normalized and turned into something that would be, rather than just data, information. And what I mean by that is really, and particularly at that time, this is 2006, 2007 type era. There weren't a lot of us really using large data sets, or even who had in insurance, strangely enough, very sophisticated skills in things like relational database manipulation. So just having that skill set you apart from a lot of the insurance companies who didn't really have internal resources to do research even on their own books of business.
Wow.
When it came to trying to understand where they stood relative to the commercial market. And I think that's really where I started, kind of raising questions about what had been done to analyze commercial insurance, how it could be done better, where there were gaps in knowledge that I think in some cases still exist. But that was just at the beginning of that road. I don't think I even knew really the full scope of questions that we would end up asking, just trying to develop, an approach to this complicated business insurance market.
Right. And at what point do you discover SIR?
Actually, pretty early on, the owner of Market Stance, before it was acquired by Verisk, was invited to speak at an SIR conference, and he handed me that task. And I think that was my introduction to the society and to some of the great work that the society has done, and just opportunities that they provided insurance researchers to present their work, which is pretty, unless you're an actuary by training, there isn't a really large community or alternative forum for insurance professionals to present research. I think that's still probably true. Uh, I think things have changed a bit, but that was definitely at that time one of the few places you could go if you had something, like a survey or some type of sample data that you're trying to explain, some type of finding that you've made that wasn't necessarily an actuarial finding. It wasn't actually that easy to find an audience for that.
How many times have you attended the conference?
Oh boy. I probably attended the conference at least 4 times,
Okay,
I
and,
would
and
say, over the years. When
oh,
as I took on more responsibilities in my business, I started having other people that work for me come to the SIR conference, because I wanted to give them the opportunity to represent our product, and also, just get to know the insurance research community a little bit better.
okay. Um, so at Verisk, you've got the kind of unique place where not being a carrier, rather being kind of the aggregator and analyst of a lot of information for the industry. A lot of you guys are doing research compared to at a carrier where probably not a lot of people. So SIR provides them a community they might not have internally in the company. What ended up leading to getting nominated for the Smith and Mangum Award?
Uh, well, that's a good question. What led to it, I'm assuming, is the probably the history of innovation that our company has been able to, and really the team that I lead has been able to pull off over the last decade and a half. Really with a team that's primarily also not from insurance or not native insurance speakers. So what I mean by that is we've tried to tackle market analysis problems and use the creative backgrounds of the people that work in my business, who are mostly natural scientist type people. They come out of college, graduate school, whatever it is, and they really are creative problem solvers by and large. And what we've found over the years, and I think this is, this award is, as much as I said, I think of the conference, is much for them as it is for me. What we've, I think, collectively determined over the years, that it actually helped a lot more than it hurt to not have formal insurance credentials or training, because we were able to look at problems from a kind of a pure statistical data scientific perspective, and draw on the insurance expertise as we needed it. And obviously, as you might imagine, becoming part of Verisk really opened doors both for data that we had access to, but also expertise that we lacked. Questions that we'd been asking for years that we didn't really have the best way of addressing, but that we knew needed to be answered. So I think that that propelled a lot of the innovation over the at least the last 8-9 years since we've been part of the Verisk team.
What is Market Stance itself?
Market Stance is a commercialized market analysis tool that forecasts profitability and growth for every line of business in the United States, down at the county, size segment and industry level. So what it is basically the best way to think about it is a segmentation tool. So whatever segment that you're interested in, say small commercial construction in the Midwest, we can tell you how much premium we estimate is there, how fast it's going to grow in the future, and profile the losses in the core lines, at least that ISO supports. So GL, business owners, property, and commercial auto. And that knowledge, just bringing that knowledge together in a multi-line format, is what Market Stance has been known for. The company's been around actually in some form. Product that we support is 25 years old, but it's just changed. It's changed radically as the team's grown and as we've gotten more adept at addressing some of these types of problems. It's a strange thing, though, to me. I mean, going back to the kind of the perspective of the naive economist coming into an insurance context, I think I just naturally believe that a tool like Market Stance was, pretty much well formatted, well formed, well in existence, and it turned out to again and again on all the key questions about how you estimate the size of the market, how you forecast it, how you integrate data from different data sources to do all of that, just really had never been done. And Market Stance, the origination of it was kind of the first steps. But I think that's how we've become pretty prominent in the industry over the years.
All right. What advice do you have for anybody who wants to work in this type of environment?
That's a good question. I mean, the advice that I would have that it is to have an understanding of what the environment for insurance research really consists of. And I think you have to be cautious about who you're talking to, because if you're talking to me, I'm going to give you a certain lens to look through. So I would say developing a rich understanding of what the field really contains. I mean, you have people that, when you say insurance research, think about competitive intelligence. That's always been a big focus at SIR. What are competitors doing? How can you research that? How can you, address competitive needs? But that's really only one avenue. I think there's in the blossoming of data science and now artificial intelligence, that there's a whole domain of knowledge that insurance researchers are involved in. Even actuaries in the last, I would say, especially 5 years, probably further back, have been propelled by the advances in AI and data science in particular to get very much more creative with their approaches to pricing and reserving and just understanding loss trends, for example. And a lot of that is the cross-fertilization that's happened inside of both customers and vendors like Verisk that have, really taken a creative stance on a lot of challenges that the industry faces. So I think that whole, whether you're trained as an actuary or not, there's a lot of new insurance research going on. There are startups that have been, didn't exist 10 years ago that are trying to address very specific data niche needs and markets. So I think all of those avenues are out there and available for people to work in. Much different environment than it was when I started my career. I would say, when I started, I think what I was indicating before, there were the people with data skills were either actuaries or people that knew how to manipulate databases in some form. And there really wasn't a lot of else going on. And that's entirely different now. now our insurance customers in commercial lines have a tremendously improved level of sophistication and talent, and they're able to do things that they really just couldn't conceive of 10, 15 years ago. So I think everyone from a data analytics and research standpoint has stepped up their game pretty impressively. It used to be the old adage that, oh, you're going to work for insurance, that's going to be boring. And it's no one knows, there are all these kind of negative stereotypes of how lack of advancement in insurance, compared to, say, financial services more generally. That was a kind of a characterization, maybe had some accuracy 15 years ago, but I think that's, you still hear people say that, but less and less.
So it sounds like the insurance research type of roles are looking fantastic into the future. Like they're getting more and more interesting and getting better and better tools with all the insurtechs that are playing in the space.
I think the insurtechs have brought in the understanding that there are different ways of looking at the kind of the quote unquote traditional reality and the traditional processes that are out there. And I think that's been helpful, and it's pushed. It's a healthy form of competition in the industry because there's always, in any situation, a build versus buy decision that everybody has to constantly be in the back of their mind. Should I buy something? Should I build it myself? And without the insurtechs propelling some of that innovation, I think the pace of change would be quite a bit slower. And I think it is healthy it's been a healthy impetus to change in the industry for sure. There's just a whole range of things that insurtechs, I think, have tried to do. I think they've also found over the time that I've been watching that segment a little bit that the level of expertise that they needed to have a relevant innovation was maybe quite a bit higher than they necessarily thought it. We've seen insurtechs come and go that their primary reason for being didn't really pan out because they weren't addressing an insurance question or didn't have enough knowledge about how the insurance was organized to actually make a value proposition that made sense.
There were plenty of what I like to call tech hammers looking for an insurance nail.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing a lot more respect for the industry, a lot more people from insurance who saw a problem during their insurance careers and then later on went off and found tech people to partner with to try to fix it. It's been tens of billions of dollars of investment into the industry to create this technology. So yeah, it creates very exciting opportunities, the ones that are successful.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anything else you'd want to make sure that we talk about?
No, not really. I think that the main contribution I think my team and I have made, it continues to be the type of contribution that's really attractive in the insurance industry. So I would say that to people that are in college, graduate school, thinking about what they want to do with their with their brain power, insurance is still a pretty dynamic area to work in. And I have a bias towards commercial insurance because I think just the problems are profoundly complex in many ways. Ranging from cat and catastrophe questions to how we understand forecasting of markets and the size of markets, what their dynamics are. The industry faces a lot of constant challenges. There's all kinds of change. Look at what's happening with the E&S market and the rate of market growth in that space versus the traditional admitted companies. that there's all kinds of emerging issue work to be done on the information and data sides that can, I think, keep anybody that's interested in doing basic research and having a quantitative approach to that, but also respecting and learning from the insurance professionals to know what kind of questions to ask. There's just a tremendous amount of opportunity here for insurance researchers.
Fantastic. Eric, thank you for your time today. And again, congratulations on the Smith and Manningham Award, which I'm having the hardest time pronouncing.
Yeah.
And thank you for your time today.
Oh, you're welcome. Take care, Tony.